and welcome to our over the top movie night. To fend off boredom, my husband and I are trying to do some interesting things. So we decided let's have movie night, but let's take it over the top. And what we're going to do is have this whole evening of immersion into the 1920s. That's where we're going to start. So we're going to begin with some 1920s music on the Victrola. We're going to be listening to Desert Night. And we'll have our martinis and our hard-boiled egg appetizers to go along with that. Here are our gin martinis and our hard-boiled egg appetizers while we listen to our music. Here we are. Cheers, darling. That's good. Our next stop will be to the living room, where we will show you some of the books that were great and popular from the 1920s. Were many, but I picked my top 5. The first one is The Age of Innocence, and this was remarkable too because this was a woman author back in the 20s, and it centers on upper-class morals in New York society. Wharton's attention to detail and its accurate portrayal of how the upper class lived, as well as the social tragedy of the plot, won her praise. The next book is Agatha Christie, and I never thought of Agatha Christie, I guess, as starting off in the 20s, but look at what a young woman that she was then. And I read that her sister got her to writing by challenging her to write a book, and so she did, and look at that career. This book is The Mysterious Affair at Styles. Inglethorpe is dying of what proves to be strychnine poisoning, and Lieutenant Hastings, a house guest, enlists the help of his friend Hercule Poirot, who is staying in the nearby village Styles St. Mary. And of course, Poirot pieces together events surrounding the murder. All Quiet on the Western Front is a classic, of course, and deals with post-traumatic stress syndrome, although they didn't identify it as such back then. And this is it's about a German veteran of war who describes the German soldiers' extreme physical and mental stress during the war and the detachment from civilian life he felt by many of these soldiers upon returning to the home front. The Sun Also Rises by the great Ernest Hemingway. This was written in 1926 and is about the American and British expatriates who traveled from Paris to the Festival of San Fermin in Pamplona to watch the running of the bulls and the bullfights. And this book did not get all great reviews when it first came out, but of course, again, now it's a classic. My favorite and my top pick is The Trial by Franz Kafka. This is one of his best-known works, and it tells the story of Joseph K., a man arrested and prosecuted by a remote, inaccessible authority, with the nature of his crime revealed neither to him nor to the reader. And it is a crazy story, and many of us feel that way, especially when we go to the DMV. You just go round and round and wonder what is happening and what's going on. Well, that brings us now to dinner and the movie. This is our menu for tonight, and we will be having the roasted chicken with vegetables on the side, which was very popular back then, and some cranberry sauce, and some yams with that. And of course, we must have another martini. Here's our dinner all plated up. Doesn't it look lovely? And did you know our dessert, of course I had told you before, was pudding. And that was a new discovery back in the 20s. And people were fascinated by pudding. Although we used instant pudding, so I wasn't going to cook it. But there you go. So here we go. Bon appetit. We're going to feast while we can, because who knows what tomorrow brings. Well, that was a lovely dinner. Now for the movies. We picked 5 top movies for us, although there were so many wonderful, wonderful movies. Our first one here is Ben-Hur. This is a drama, and the main actor was Ramon Navarro. Ben-Hur is betrayed by his friend, Messala, who is blinded by his own ambition. Ben-Hur is forced into slavery on a Roman ship, and here he becomes friends with the captain, Quintas Arias. Finally, Ben-Hur is allowed to compete in a chariot race and maybe get his revenge. The next movie is Way Down East. This was a subject matter I didn't think that they would address back in the 1920s, but this is about an unwed mother, Lillian Gish, who was a famous actress back then, and she's abandoned, then banished in a blizzard and set adrift on ice floes. Who knows what will happen next? The next movie, Nosferatu. This was your original vampire movie. The mysterious Count Orlok summons Thomas Hutter to his remote Transylvania castle in the mountains. The eerie Orlok seeks to buy a house near Hutter and his wife, Ellen. After Orlok reveals his vampire nature, Hutter struggles to escape the castle, knowing that Ellen is in grave danger. Meanwhile, Orlok's servant, Nock, prepares for his master to arrive in his new home. This is one I saw back when I was a little kid, but you have to understand I was not born in the 20s. I think it was a rerun. My mother made me watch it. This was The Hunchback of Notre Dame in 15th century Paris. Jean, the evil brother of the archdeacon, lusts after the gypsy named Esmeralda and commands the hunchback Quasimodo to capture her. Military Captain Phoebus also loves Esmeralda and rescues her, but the gypsy's not unsympathetic to Quasimodo's condition, and an unlikely bond forms between them. Our pick for tonight, The Kid, with Charlie Chaplin. Chaplin's first full-length feature is a silent masterpiece about a little tramp who discovers a little orphan and brings him up, but is left desolated when the orphanage reclaims him. Chaplin directed, produced, and starred in the film, as well as composed the score. The great Charlie Chaplin is what we choose tonight. So thank you for watching us, and just remember a couple of things. We are not professional videographers. We have been drinking martinis throughout the evening in the vein of the 1920s. And I guess that'll be all for tonight, right, Lou?
Right. Hey.
Should we head to the pool?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Okay.
This way.